Hey folks, Nikki here, the creative director of Mix Your Organics, and today we're going to show you how to make your own sunscreen. So if you have measuring cups, that's fine, but what's even better is if you can get your hands on a scale. We're also going to show you a shortcut where if you want to do it really quick and you have our SHEA-CRED and an organic lavender balm that's relatively new, I'll show you a little shortcut how you can use these two products along with the zinc oxide and just mix those three things together for a perfect sunscreen. So we're going to use our tins to fill. These are just our body balm tins that we've cleaned out and that are perfect for putting a sunscreen in. Otherwise, you can really use any jar, preferably something environmentally friendly. And so if you're not going to do the shortcut, we also want you to grab some coconut oil if you have it, beeswax, and some essential oils. Really your preference, but the three we've picked out are kind of the best ones you can use to make your sunscreen. So now that we've got all of our materials, you can also check the written blog posts for all the detailed information, but let's get started. First things first, you're going to need some kind of double boiler system. So if you don't have a double boiler, you can easily make one by just placing a mug in a pan with like a little bit of water, like an inch or two. And when you get cooking, you'll bring it to a boil and then you'll reduce the heat just down to very low heat and let it simmer, and you'll put all the ingredients into there. But I'm going to actually measure everything out and put it into a double boiler since we do have one. So when you're measuring the ingredients out, the first thing you're going to want to do if you're making the outdoor sunscreen is to get your beeswax in there first. It'll take the longest to melt, and we're going to use about 0.3 ounces. The next product we're going to weigh out is going to be our SHEA-CRED. You can also use regular shea, but our SHEA-CRED is filled with other awesome good stuff like aloe vera, so it makes a great ingredient for your homemade sunscreen, and it's easy, it's more malleable than actual shea, which is rock hard. So this is a great one. We're going to use about 1.6 tablespoons or 0.8 ounces, and it's really great. The next ingredient we're going to use is coconut oil. Again, this is for an outdoor recipe, not so much an in the water recipe, because certain oils and essential oils can actually harm coral reefs. So if you're in an area that has coral reefs, just be aware. But if you're kind of going swimming in a lake or wherever, you know, coconut oil is okay along with the shea. So after you've weighed that out, then we're going to go to our zinc oxide, and this is the stuff that's really protecting your skin. This is the real SPF. In the blog post there is a chart so you can figure out how much you need. So if you're someone who needs 70 SPF, you're going to probably use a lot more zinc oxide than we are using here. We're only using a 0.35 for our recipe. And because of the amount of other ingredients we're using, that's going to give us a SPF at about 15 to 20. So for an everyday sunscreen that you want to use on your face and your shoulders, that's plenty. And so then you melt it all up. And it melts relatively quickly if you've been boiling the water. And once you add the zinc oxide, it really turns white. It's very, very milky, even milkier than normal milk. And then turn the heat off. Add your essential oils next. You want to add them last because you don't want all of them to evaporate when you add them. So let it sit for a moment, and then really it's your preference. I added quite a lot of rosemary and eucalyptus, and I must say it smelled very good. I really loved the scent of the sunscreen. So if you are wearing it for an everyday, maybe you want to kind of spice it up and add something very strong or add a lot of essential oils. It's really up to you, but do be cautious of citrus essential oils. So if you're using something besides the three that I've listed, make sure you do a little Googling to make sure it's not going to actually cause you to get more burnt because it's not the point of this recipe, is it? So once you've added them, you want to quickly, immediately transfer the pot and pour it into your tin. Again, we're just using a washed out body balm tin, but you can really use whatever you want. I always suggest staying away from plastic since it is a very hot liquid that you're pouring into the plastic. After you let it cool for a little bit, you have your own sunscreen balm. Homemade, you know what's in it, every little last ingredient, and you can feel safe about using it on your body and out and about in the environment. Again, though, if you are using this sunscreen to go in the oceans, we do want you to be aware of the beeswax and the essential oils because those can actually be harmful as well. Not as bad as the toxic chemicals that are in a lot of stuff, but just beware. We have 3 different recipes above. If you want to just take the shortcut of using half of a lavender body balm and 2 scoops of SHEA-CRED and adding some zinc oxide, that recipe is also there. It's super easy. You just melt it down and you put it in a tin and you're good to go. Super simple, so be safe this summer and make good choices with your sunscreen. Bye guys.